Hello, today is July 1st, 2024. We always begin with our disclaimer, go over our calls, and then we make our predictions. It's my trading plan for Tuesday, which is July 2nd, 2024. Please remember, my calls can be wrong. Any trade you make should be made at your own risk. But we look for the pattern with the early low, which is this, and tomorrow should also have the early low. We had a higher target, 54.8939. We said it might not print, and it didn't. We said that there was a good chance we hit a high on Friday. We needed confirmation of the drop by trading at least 1 cent under Friday's close, which we did. And the idea was that almost always you were going to follow through on this Friday drop at Monday's open. And I said if we gapped up instead, something else was going on. Well, we gapped up instead, so there wasn't a call. This is just a review of what we said. Gapping up wasn't part of the plan, and even if I don't say it, it's part of our general rules. We're looking for lower prices, and even though we got them during the day, I get no credit because the call was killed before the open. Today's MeJT patterns, we had an ultimate buy signal in the morning. It certainly didn't call the next move, but ultimately we did trade higher, and that's played out. We got a sell signal later in the day. Once again, it didn't call the next move, but we certainly got enough to satisfy that. So those have already played out. We're still on DeMark's sell signals from his daily chart. Remember, these indicate you're overextended. You can correct in terms of price or in terms of time. I would like to see us correct in terms of price, but until we start dropping and holding it, you can't be confident of that. That's the daily chart. Here's the weekly chart. We now have another one of DeMark's sells. We have a 9, 13, 9 sequential sell signal. When this works, it's a powerful signal. Since it's a weekly chart, it won't officially trigger until Friday's close, but the last of these 9 bars can finish early. And if you allow for that, we're on the sell signal now. When multiple patterns in his work all say the same thing at the same time, it's called alignment. And when you're in alignment and you get a correction in terms of price, it tends to be a serious correction. It just doesn't mean you won't correct in terms of time, and until we start down, you can't be confident. Right now we're in a position where we're still vulnerable to a sizable drop, even though I think the market's rally is not over. We still have a wave count compatible with a high here too. Everything is in place. All we need to do is start down, and that hasn't happened yet. And maybe it won't, because we're in one of the most positive periods of the year until the 4th of July. So it's entirely possible, not required, but possible, we're just going to piddle around till after the holiday. And if there is going to be a drop, it might start after that. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early low regardless of where we open. A number of timing systems, as well as DeMark's daily indicators, are compatible with the top in this area. A DeMark weekly sell will likely trigger this week, and if one accepts the last bar can finish early, we can count it as having triggered today. That being said, we need to start down with authority before we can have more confidence in the call. I don't have anything giving me direction for tomorrow's trade. Usually when I don't have anything giving me direction, we're going to close unchanged. I just never have the guts to call that, but being unchanged wouldn't surprise me, I'm just going to say. And since we're in one of the year's most bullish periods, if possible but not required, we're going to wait until after the 4th of July to begin a move. Now, starting in the middle of July, that's one of the market's most bearish periods of the year. So I don't have anything specifically for tomorrow, but we're vulnerable to a big drop here, and one of the possible scenarios is we just piddle around this week and soon thereafter begin to drop. And once again, the longer we go without dropping, the less confidence I'm going to have in the call. But everything's lined up except for the fact that we haven't started dropping yet, so it might take a little more time, but I think that's the most likely direction. Tomorrow's pattern has the early low, and that's today's call.